How about instead of bickering, we figure out our next move against the Speedster and his allies?
Legion of Doom has a sexual ring to it.
I'm not calling them that.
Is it smaller than a Quinjet?
That's classified. And yes, considerably.
It all started when we blew up the Time Pigs, the Time Masters. Now history's all screwed up, and it's up to us to unscrew it up. But half the time we screw things up even worse. So don't call us heroes. We're something else. We're legends. Who writes this crap anyway?
Welcome back to the Fandom Zone, episode 104 for the week ending May 20th, 2017. I'm Charles Skaggs, taunting Karen Lindsay, my co-host, with some Twin Peaks action figures that I just so happen to have as I'm getting ready for the Twin Peaks premiere tonight. Woot!
I saw Laura Palmer.
You saw Laura Palmer.
In her
She's dead,
body bag.
Wrapped in plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
I see it.
That's my Funko. I got my Laura Palmer figure, which is awesome because how often do you get a corpse?
That's right.
Funko figure.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have Bob.
I see that.
Sinister Demon Bob.
Mm-hmm.
With his grabby hands ready to go after you and kill you.
Mm-hmm. Is that after he came through the mirror or whatever?
What do you mean?
What's his name looks in the mirror and finds out he's Bob, right?
That's the original series finale.
Right.
That's the big cliffhanger.
Mm.
So now here we are 26 years later. After Laura told us, I'll see you again in 25 years.
That's insane.
Which is awesome.
It's been that long.
Yep, but it's awesome because the prophecy has come true. And Twin Peaks is back. So, yeah. So, you can hear more of that on the Ghostwood podcast that I do with Zan Sprouse. But this is the Fandom Zone podcast that I do with Karen Lindsay. So, enough of that Twin Peaks nonsense. Not really nonsense, but you know what I get. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about... We got another full week as our shows are gearing up. We got a lot of penultimate episodes this week. Yes.
And one finale.
Yep. And one finale in particular, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as I'm seeing the Ghost Rider and Coulson figures, bobbleheads, who are practically the same person this week.
They were.
So you get Coulson Rider.
Someone made a deal.
Or Ghost Coulson, whichever you prefer.
Mm-mm. Coulson Rider.
You like Coulson Rider? Mm-hmm. See, I kind of like Ghost Coulson, but Coulson Rider kind of rolls off the tongue better. So, yeah. Coulson Rider, motorcycle hero. Yeah. So, in addition to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that's later in part 2. Part 1, we're going to talk about Supergirl, episode 21 of the second season. We're going to talk about Gotham, episode 18 of the third season. Lucifer, episode 16 of the second season. And The Flash, episode 22 of the third season. Big episodes abound. And in the second segment, of course, we're going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then we're also going to talk about Arrow, and we're going to talk about Iron Fist, episode 8, I believe we're on, and iZombie. So that's in part 2, so hopefully you'll come back for part 2. But for those of you in part 1 action, as Karen is enjoying her savory pizza.
I'm just finishing it. Apologies.
That's okay. I'm ready to do the heavy lifting. That's all right. So in case you're wondering why Karen's a little quiet at the moment, she's got the hungries.
And the pizza man was so inconvenient. He was like 10 minutes late. And he brought the pizza right like 10 minutes before we started the podcast.
I shall quote the bard Stephanie from Full House when I say, "How rude."
Exactly. How rude.
It was Stephanie, right? I think it was Stephanie.
I think so.
Yeah, I think
the
so.
Little, yeah.
Yeah, the little one. So, not so little anymore, but obviously. But okay, so let's talk about Supergirl, episode 21 of the second season, Resist. Say, that's a very timely title, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Especially next week's. Next week's even more timely, but we'll get into that. So, but this one, Resist, written by Jessica Keller and Derek Simon, directed by Millicent Shelton. And our A, B, and C stories are, according to Karen,
they're all songs.
Yes. So she can bring home the bacon, fried up in a pan.
Or just fry everything.
And that's Rhea, Kat, President Marsden, and Lillian. So yeah, a lot of women powers, the female powers.
That's right. The second one is also female powers.
Yep. So who do you love?
Right.
The old George Thorogood. George Thorogood and the Destroyers classic.
Who do you love?
Yep. And that's Kara saving Mon-El, Lillian saving Lena, and Alex understanding because of Maggie.
That's right.
All right. And our C story, that Cat came back. She just
wouldn't stay away.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's a folk song.
Oh, that's why. I stay away from that hippie music. No. I'm just kidding. I'm just not a big folk music person, that's all. A
lot of people know it because they were sung it when they were children. Like in kindergarten or second grade or, whatever. And then I knew it because we sang it around campfires and things like that. The cat came back, wouldn't stay away.
Yep. So our first topic, she could bring home the bacon fried up in a pan. That's an old classic. That was.
I never, never, never let you forget you're a man.
Yeah, who sings that one?
I have no idea.
Wasn't it just like in a commercial or something? I forget what it was.
It was a real song.
Okay, I didn't know if it was a real song. I just remember it from a commercial.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah.
But it was a real song. But I put Or Just Fry Everything because, of course, a lot of these people were, there were two of them on our side, Kat and President Marsden. And President Marsden surprised me that she was a Derlin, but a good person. Because
or is she, in fact, on our side?
Right, who knows?
Who knows, eh? Who knows?
Right. She's just not on
Daxam. She's not on Team Daxam. She's on Team Derlin, I think.
I think so, too.
But we'll find out.
And then Rhea and Lillian, of course, backstabbers.
Right. Yes. Backstabbers. Yeah. So, Rhea, obviously large and in charge this week as we pick up from last week's cliffhanger where she manipulates events to open up this portal so that the Daxamites can take control over planet Earth, or at least National City.
That's right.
The idea that I have is just the city.
But,
or is it
they
more
had
than that?
Someone who was from another city on that ship.
That's true, they did.
So they might be elsewhere as well.
Maybe they're branching out. Yeah, so, and we'll get into that, because that's kind of a big spoiler.
Yeah, but people have watched it already.
If you watch the episode, you probably already know it. But yeah, so we're talking about Superman. But anyway, so we got Rhea, who's, I guess, she gets a hold of Lena after she wakes up and tells Lena, drops the bomb on her that, hey, you're destined for greatness. And, yeah, maybe not, but we'll find out. So, because
we'll destroy all these charities.
Exactly. So she basically lays this trip on both her and Mon-El that the two of them need to get hitched because Mommy's playing matchmaker, and apparently only Lena Luthor is worthy enough for her son.
And she does come from a line of supervillains.
Yeah, exactly.
So why not?
You do have that supervillain cred that I appreciate so much.
A nice lineage.
Yeah. So she ends up threatening him, say, all right, you better do what I say, or I'm going to just totally blow up a children's hospital or something other really evil supervillain kind of target.
It was a children's hospital.
Yeah. So, which is, not cool, Rhea, not cool.
Right. And Mon-El was coerced as well. Who's still feeling really guilty that his father killed himself because of him. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Except not.
Yeah, so, Mon-El, still pretty clueless, has not caught on to the fact that, oh, hey, mommy killed daddy.
Right.
So, and he's still being a complete total wuss, where his mom is concerned.
It's true.
I mean, it's not really a mommy's boy, he's just being a complete, baby. So, that's not good. So that's going on.
He needs to make a fist.
Yeah.
Although the show is called Supergirl.
That's true.
So she has to save the day, kind of, right?
Right. And Supergirl does kind of save the day because just so happens that Air Force One is en route to National City. And guess who's aboard, of course, because it's Air Force One? President Olivia Marsden.
And?
Yep. The return of the Cougar.
That's right.
Yeah, so we get the return of Callista Flockhart as Cat Grant, so a lot of people are happy about that.
Yeah, I think
although she was kind of annoying in this episode.
Oh, she was great in this episode. I loved her in this episode.
She was annoying the crap out of me, though, because, it's all about me, and...
That's how she is, though.
I know, I get that, but this is not the time for Cat's ego.
She talked to Madeline Albright on the phone.
Right.
She went into her office, and one of the things that I thought would have been funny is if she went into her office and she was complaining about James's stuff, but it was all pushed into the corner, and Snapper was sitting behind James's desk because James is never there.
Yeah, that would be good. Well, I did kind of like that fact that when she walked in the office, she's just like, okay, why does it smell like a gym in here? And it's like, that's testosterone you're smelling. Right,
because James is doing the job and he's in your office.
Exactly, yeah, so.
What did you expect? He was going to leave everything like you had it? No.
It doesn't smell like triple half-calf super lattes.
Right.
Yeah.
And fake fur.
And fake fur, exactly. And plastic surgery. Oh, did I say that? Did I go there? Oh.
Actually, she wouldn't feel bad about that.
Yeah.
She'd be empowered.
Joker-like plastic surgery.
Hey, no, she looks fine. She doesn't look like Meg Ryan.
That was some bad plastic surgery.
Yeah, it was horrible plastic surgery.
Yeah. So, you're rolling the dice, ladies. I'm just, sometimes you want to go natural. I'm just saying. You might be better off.
I'm never getting plastic surgery unless it is mandatory.
Right.
Unless I need it.
Right. Unless you have to have it, which hopefully that will never happen.
Exactly.
Okay. So, President Marsden calls up Rhea on the speed dial, as she just happens to do. And, you go 1-800-INVASION or something.
Right.
Boop, 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 boop. Okay. And she says, okay, you're going to call off this invasion, but Rhea's not playing that. She's not down with that. And, of course, this is when Kat inserts herself into the conversation between the leader of the free world and an alien dictator.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. I'm all right with it.
And this is me.
She is the leader of a broadcast network.
Yeah, that's right up there. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, the broadcast network she walked away from.
Okay, yeah.
Just saying.
To go to a yurt.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to hang out with Doctor Strange in the...
She did a good job.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. She did a good job.
So yeah, she basically says, okay, this is how it is, lady, and you're gonna back down. And Ray, of course, is just like, whatever, and destroys Air Force One. Now, Supergirl has the choice to save the President of the United States or Cat. Saves Cat Grant.
Cat. Right.
So, Supergirl almost killed the president, but just so happens she's a Durlin and she can shapeshift, so she's cool. She's good.
Right.
And then before she changes into Wonder Woman,
she comes out of the wreckage.
She comes out of the wreckage and then does this big twirl, spins around, and Wonder Woman.
Exactly. No, she comes out as a Durlin and then changes back into President Marsden. And this is when, of course, they find out that she is not eligible to be president.
Yeah.
Pardon me for saying that, but it's true.
Yeah.
She's not a naturalized citizen of the United States.
Yeah, she kind of fails that naturalized citizen test just by a little bit.
I mean, unless that's not a law on Earth
38.
38, yeah.
But, yeah, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there might be some grounds for impeachment on that one. Just
might be if they find out. They're keeping the secret.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. We find out later that, of course, Kara is going to just totally keep this on the down low, and apparently the DEO is going to do the same.
Well, because she's helping them,
even though the secret's out. But yeah, we're
she's
not
on their side.
We're not totally convinced that she's 100% on their side, though, are we?
They are, though.
They are.
Right, because she helped them, and also that they figure she can be an asset, probably. Right?
Right, pretty much.
So I'm guessing that's why.
Yeah. So this episode eventually boils down to where Alex gets under pressure to fire a weapon and destroy the Daxamite vessel holding Rhea.
Right.
But Mon-El's just like, hey, Kara's on that ship.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately gets forced to push the button.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
the cannon disappears.
Yeah.
Well, the cannon disappears, for one.
Right.
Kara stays behind and lets everyone go. Yeah. Kara stays behind to try and see if she could get Rhea to surrender peacefully.
Right.
Which is odd, I thought. I think mostly because she is Mon-El's mother.
Right.
And then Rhea brings out her...
You think she would have been harsher had Mon-El not been there, not had that connection to her?
Yes,
okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Plus, I think part of her doesn't want to see the extinction of all those people.
Right.
So she stays behind, and then Rhea brings out her ace up her sleeve, which is dear old cousin who is under her thrall.
Cousin Cal. Who
That's right.
Apparently now, under Rhea's power, as Karen said. And now next week, we're going to get, or at least for us, it's going to be tomorrow.
Right.
The big thriller in National City as Supergirl versus Superman.
That's right.
Battle of the Cousins.
Very cool. I can't wait to see it. Although she does fight Rhea as well.
Right.
As we have seen from the preview.
So she's got to stop not only her superpower cousin, she's got to stop Rhea and get rid of all those pesky Daxamites. So,
Mon-El is only in one of the pictures from this next upcoming episode.
Ooh.
And there are some pictures of...
So what do you think? Or are you speculating here?
I am speculating that I don't know. He might not be in the whole episode. We do know that Zod will be in this episode.
Neo before Zod.
That's right. And there are some pictures of Kara and Clark and Alex.
Right.
In the Fortress of Solitude, and they seem to be getting ready for a long winter.
Interesting.
So I thought it was interesting myself.
Winter is coming.
That's right. So I don't know what's going to happen. It looks very weird.
Yeah, Kara's got a lot on her plate next week.
Yeah.
Or this week, really.
Yeah, but next week.
Yeah.
It'll have shown already by the time people are listening to this. So.
Right. And we should probably talk about Lillian.
Right?
Because Lillian comes up with this plan to use the Phantom Zone projector to send Hank to the Daxamite ship as a way to get Kara on board.
Mm-hmm.
And so they end up like going to the Fortress of Solitude. Hey, let's bring my cousin's arch enemy's mom to the fortress.
Right. Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they create this portal. That's what gets Kara on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lillian shows her true colors.
Once they've saved Lena, she's about to leave everyone else there.
Yeah. Thanks.
Let them all burn.
Yeah, you can't trust a Luther. People.
Nope.
Once a Luther, always a Luther. Just saying.
And I am guessing, to be honest, that when she sent Cyborg Superman up there,
right,
he got some intel, because they do say that he had some sort of interface that he could do with the ships,
right.
Remember?
Yeah, because, hey, he's Cyborg Superman. He can interface with that stuff, so.
Right. And I think he took some intel from the ship. I think that's why she did it.
Probably.
She didn't care about anything else. She didn't care about Lena. She didn't care about saving
Well, she probably
anyone.
doesn't want Rhea in charge.
Right.
So she's probably cool with getting rid of Rhea.
Sure. But, she didn't do that. She just saved her daughter and got whatever intel she got on Cyborg Superman. Yeah. And then if Kara manages to save the day, then all the better, right?
Exactly.
But she's not going to save Kara. Who cares?
Exactly.
I'm guessing she's just hoping that Alex will hit the button and everything will go up in flames.
Just push the button, Frank.
Right. Right.
Little Mystery Science Theater reference for you.
Yeah.
Or
just
now
push the button, Frank.
Yeah. Or now it would be what? Just push the
Frank
button.
Jr.?
No, yeah, whatever TV Son of TV's Frank is called. He's got a real name.
I know.
Like Max or something.
Yeah.
I think it's Max.
Funny.
Push the button, Max. Update that reference.
Whatever.
All right, so who do you love? We had Kara saving Mon-El, Lillian saving Lena.
I think we've kind of covered it, to be honest.
Yeah, I
if
think
we
so
want to
too.
move on.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the Cat came back. She just couldn't stay away, and that's more of Cat Grant.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did. So we did. Let's see what else. We didn't talk about Cat figuring out that, hey, Guardian that's just Jimmy Olsen. James,
okay,
don't call me Jimmy Olsen.
That was funny.
Right, because she's like, oh, I could just look through the visor and it's your eyes.
Okay.
The same woman that cannot piece together that Kara is Supergirl.
Here's my point. I think she knows.
I think she does too.
And I think she is just not saying it because she doesn't want to let Kara know that she knows.
I would hope that she knows this.
I'm quite sure she does. And it's better that
unless her ego will not let her.
No, I think she knows.
Okay.
And she just doesn't want Kara to know because it would distract her from doing things in front of Kat. So, but Jimmy, who cares about Jimmy? He's,
Yeah.
He's not super powered or anything. Oh, come on. She's still looking at her phone and she's like, come on, it's your eyes behind that little slit.
I'm hoping that all this disrespect for Jimmy as the Guardian finally encourages Jimmy to get rid of the Guardian armor.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too.
Because
plus the fact that
or
at least,
or at the very least redesign it so his face doesn't look like a frying pan.
The Daxamites were wearing the same outfits. I mean, how embarrassing was that?
Yeah. Awkward.
Right.
Did you not get the memo?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm okay if we stop there, to be honest. I think we've covered almost everything.
All right, that's fine. All right, so what's your rating?
I gave it 8.5 red dresses, and I really liked it because it seemed like a season 1 episode to me, even though it was cheesy and campy and all that. But with Kat back, I thought it was good, and she was giving pep talks and all that stuff.
Maybe Kat's better in smaller doses.
Yeah,
if she's not there every week, like if she just showed up like every few episodes or whatever.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
You'd be okay. Like every 6 episodes, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like she goes off to her yurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she comes back rested and ready to do some meddling.
As a recurring character, not a regular character.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're totally in sync on this one. I give it 8.5 out of 10. Fandom, record scratch. Phantom Zone projectors, not Phantom
Nice.
Zone.
I saw you tweet that.
Yeah.
And mine was red dresses, but I didn't like that like wire hanger necklace thing around the neck.
Yeah.
But the red dress itself was very pretty that Lena had on.
Yeah.
Her wedding dress.
Yeah, her red wedding dress. Red wedding. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Game of Thrones reference.
Doomed. Yeah.
Yeah. Doomed. All right.
R.I.P.
So let's move on to Gotham.
Gotham, Light the Wick.
Light the Wick, episode 18 of the third season, written by Se-Chun, directed by Mark Tonderai.
Excellent. By the way, his first name is pronounced Z.
Is it Z? Because it's spelled like Tse.
I know, but he says it's pronounced Z.
Okay, Z-Chun. More than willing to correct myself.
That's all right. No one knew until he said it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, well, just in the spelling, dude. Just say.
I know. I know.
Right.
So my A story is
because it's spelled like tsetse flies.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
T-Z-E, right?
Yeah.
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 A story is strangely playing both sides. Mm-hmm. B story is waking up to destiny because of the parents' wake.
Right.
And then I have a couple of C stories.
I want to put a hyphen in there to make it clear.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to say it.
Oh, that's true. So. Okay. Fair enough.
C story is Sirens: The Next Generation.
Uh-huh.
The Odd Couple. That's Ed and Oswald. Leaving Again with Lee.
Okay.
And then The Bane of Barnes.
Yeah, because he's basically like Bane.
Right.
Even though he's not Bane.
Come out of the darkness into the light, Batman.
Very nice. I did it for you, the people.
Batman, come out of the darkness into the light. I am bored of the darkness.
And now I'm going to be Venom in the Spider-Man
I know, right?
spin-off movie.
That's the weirdest casting ever. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy is Venom.
He is awesome.
Well, he does have the beefiness.
Yeah.
So
I'm okay with it.
But so yeah,
he also likes posting pictures of himself with puppies.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's a Venom geek, so we'll find out. Maybe that's why he went for it. He was just like, yeah, I want to be Venom.
I live as a suit. Spider-Man.
I love your Bane impression. That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's
really
terrible.
Good. No, it's better than mine, I think.
I have no idea what the lines are because I don't have it memorized. I've only seen the movie once, so
really?
But
I've seen it like 3 times.
I'm approximating.
Yeah.
I was born in the darkness, Batman.
That's good.
It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah, maybe we should have like Bane versus Heatwave. Or Bane versus Thea.
Thea, I was born in the darkness. Stop it. I can't even hear what you're saying. It's so irritating.
Take the mask off.
I can't take my mask off because then you'll know who I am. And I was born in the darkness. What are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. Okay. There we go.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. And scene.
And scene.
And
That's
scene.
right.
All right. So, strangely playing both sides, that has to be a reference to Hugo Strange.
It is.
B.D. Wong back to play Gotham City as Dr. Hugo Strange.
That's right.
Professor Hugo Strange, I should say. And apparently Hugo has been drafted by the Court of Owls.
Yeah, against his will.
Against his will. Well, hence the drafting part.
Right.
He didn't volunteer, that's for sure. No. And apparently he's willing to throw the court under the bus at the first opportunity.
As long as they can get him out from under without alerting the Court of Owls. If they can take down the Court of Owls with his technology, then he'll go with them. But otherwise, he's staying with the Court of Owls.
Yeah. So they have Catherine, the head of the Court of Owls at the moment. Notice I said that.
Right.
Asks Professor Strange to drain some of Barnes's blood. So we had that, and then what else? Oh yeah, then he's revealed to be affected by, he's affected by the Tetch virus.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be spread through the air.
Right.
So that's going on. So that's not
He
good.
weaponized it.
Exactly.
In an aerosol
and then
form.
There's a confrontation between Gordon and Bullock and Hugo later on where they can't arrest him because they don't want to risk the virus getting unleashed.
Right.
So that's going on. But he does give them notes and a vial of the virus compound.
Correct.
Got it.
So that hopefully maybe Lucius can come up with some sort of antidote or a way to stop the virus from being spread. And,
well, he was really good with it, with that the Scarecrow's fear toxin in Batman Begins.
That's right.
Just saying.
And it was almost the same thing, right?
Pretty much.
And there was the scene where James is being tested by Catherine, where they put the bomb down in the Daughters of the American Revolution Hall.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's
essentially what they are.
Supposedly, it's this big reunion of socialites.
Mm-hmm.
And Catherine tells Gordon, like, hey, we just happened to whip up this dispersal bomb with the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So here is your test, Gordon. If you can leave it alone, you're in.
Right.
But of course, being Gordon, he can't.
He can't. And he shouldn't, right?
No, he shouldn't, but that's the test.
Mm-hmm.
So, and, to be fair, some of these socialites did bring their kids for some reason to this thing. So there's innocent kids. So I guess, you can't really...
I think they were all kids. I think it was all daughters.
No,
and some of them were fairly young, right?
There was adults there.
There were?
Yeah, there were.
Okay.
I think it was families or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was like a coming of age party.
Yeah. Maybe they were just told to bring their kids to this affair. And so, because, hey, she just wanted to put the screws to Jim a little bit more.
Right.
Right. That's what I'm guessing. Anyway. That's how I fix it the script in my head, anyway.
Good plan.
Yeah, no problem. So, Waking Up to Destiny.
That is Bruce with the shaman.
Yes.
And the shaman is...
The shaman.
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 It's shaman.
Shaman.
You can pronounce it either way. However...
Charmin. Toilet paper.
I prefer shaman.
Okay.
I play a shaman in World of Warcraft.
Oh, do you?
I have 2 shaman. I have an elemental shaman, which is hitting.
Okay.
No, elemental shaman is casting. And the enhancement shaman is melee, hitting with maces. And then there's a resto shaman, which is healing. There's 3 specs.
But what about don't squeeze? What about don't squeeze the? Don't squeeze the shaman.
No, shaman. It's shaman.
Don't squeeze the shaman.
So I have one in order to not have to change specs.
Yeah.
I have one that's elemental that casts, and then another that's enhancement. The enhancement one is a goblin. She's tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that's elemental is a troll.
Okay.
What is this bizarre segue that's happening right now?
Thank you.
Can we maybe stay on point?
I know you don't care.
I have never been more relieved to hear Blaine in my life.
I know you don't care, but there are people that like World of Warcraft
I'm sure they
listen to me.
I'm sure
you know
they
what?
do.
I post on Twitter.
I'm not coming down on you.
And people love it.
I'm not coming down on you. I'm not criticizing you. I swear.
I have people that like me.
I'm pleading the fifth. I'm pleading
people
innocence
like
here.
me.
I like you. I like you.
I had a blog that reblogged one of my posts about World of Warcraft.
I like
so
you.
Thank you.
I like you.
Thank you, Z and Cinder, if you're listening.
She's not listening to me.
Well, she might be listening to me. And it's a they. Z and Cinder.
No, I meant you're not listening to me.
Yeah, no, you're right.
What is this bizarre segue that's happening right now?
You're just letting me twist in the wind, aren't you?
It's shaman.
Okay. I will concede the point.
Bruce is in the shaman area, and I'm pretty sure that he is not in the League of Assassins. And here's why.
Okay, what's your theory?
The shaman is teaching him to forget his anger.
Right.
The League of Assassins actually channels anger. Right? They don't teach you to forget all your anger.
But apparently there's a reason that he wants him to forget.
They're brainwashing him.
Yes. They've got ulterior motives here.
Right.
This shaman.
Right. Shaman. And
you can't let it go, can you?
No, because it is shaman. But anyway, I think he's brainwashing him. And what the deal is he's making him forget all this anger. He's poking him in the head with these weird fiery acupuncture needles that are making his eyes all white.
Yep. And
going through these memories. And the memory of the wake I thought was really interesting because we see a Bruce that is super alone. And yes, we've seen that before, but he is jealous of the fact that the people aren't remembering his parents. They're only remembering him. And he's mad and upset. He's jealous that in the other way around.
Well, here's my question about that scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, presuming these people were in the Court of Owls,
mm-hmm.
is that why they were only concerned about Bruce? Maybe they saw Martha and Thomas as, they're not one of us, so we don't. They don't exist in our world.
They're collateral damage.
But we can use Bruce, which is why we killed them.
Maybe. And, they're saying poor boy and he'll never get over this and all this. And he's mad because, they're not mourning his parents. They're talking about him and he doesn't want the attention. And, so I was actually really fascinated by this walk through his brain. And then the fact that he stole his father's cufflinks, because how morbid is that you would take your dad's cufflinks, and I'm assuming off of him because he was going to get buried in them.
Well, maybe that's why he didn't want the cufflinks buried, so he's just I want this to remember my father by.
I know, but that's...
I don't think it's that morbid if you're wanting to use it to remember your father.
No, he had to take it off of his father, though, right?
Right. Well,
that's pretty...
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah, well... Hello, Batman.
And
he's going to be dark.
He in this fantasy world, he puts them in a fantasy safe.
Right.
But then when he gets back to his real life, the cufflinks will still be there.
Yeah.
So
well, no, it was just a symbol.
I know it was
the cufflinks were a symbol of how he felt about his father, his grief over his father. So the idea is that they want to lock that grief away in the safe.
So once he's brainwashed, they won't have any effect on him? Is that...
Or it'll just supposedly it's with the presumption that it will clear his mind and keep him focused. So he won't have this emotional attachment to his dead parents.
I'm thinking that part of Bruce, when he sees...
Yeah.
I don't think this will happen on the show, but if he saw those cufflinks, that it would take him right back to that memory. But
Right. Well, here's
they're
what I'm
thinking
wondering.
their brainwashing will be stronger than that, I'm guessing, huh?
Here's what I'm wondering. Okay, if he locks up his dad's cufflinks in the safe, what about his mom? What about what's the attachment
Right?
to? What about that? That was never addressed.
Right.
So it's just like, okay, I only cared about my dad.
Well, that was what the memory brought up, and that was what he seized upon in the moment. I'm guessing they have more
maybe it'll be another scene where he
more
takes
memories,
care of something,
or
with his
maybe
mom.
they're just assuming that we're gonna assume
Which you
that
should never assume.
that the shaman does that later on.
I love how you keep.
I'm waiting.
Enunciate that point. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going.
Okay.
That's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. I'm not going there.
You know what I like is when you say it and I correct you. That's the best part.
For you.
See, on the waking up
I'm
to Destiny,
I'm the guy that gets chewed out. That's not great for me.
It's not chewing out. I just think it's funny. It's not chewing out. It's acceptable to pronounce it either way. I'm just saying I like it the other way. So I'll just
But you keep telling me, you keep saying, if it's acceptable to say it either way, then why are you saying
because it's
this?
Funny. It's funny. Isn't it funny? You're laughing.
Yes, it's a thrill ride. It's a barrel laughs. Ha 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 ha.
I won't do it anymore then.
I'm just picking up.
Because you're upset now.
No, I'm not. I'm not upset.
I'm sorry.
You're funny. All right.
What is this bizarre segue that's happening?
Okay. Three blades in a row. We got to get moving then.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so waking up the dead. So they're trying to brainwash him. I'm guessing this guy is the Grand Master of the Court of Owls.
Could be. I'm not sure who this guy is.
He's just billed as the shaman on the show.
If he turned out to be Ra's al Ghul,
he's not.
Okay, because
Alexander S.H.I.E.L.D. is.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, he did cast that role. So yeah, it's not him, unless he dunks in the Lazarus pit and comes out as Alexander S.H.I.E.L.D.
You never know.
Just saying, it could.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
He could. That could be this big. They could be this big ceremony. The shaman gets into the red Lazarus pit, comes out as Alexander S.H.I.E.L.D.
It could happen.
So we'll see.
It could happen.
I'm leaving that door cracked open. I'm not sold on it yet, but I think it's a possibility.
It is a possibility.
Okay.
However, I do think the teaching is opposite of what the League of Assassins would teach him.
Okay. We'll find out.
Okay.
Okay.
So Siren's the next generation.
We still have 4 more episodes to go, so.
That's true.
All right.
Siren's the next generation is Ivy and Selena.
Uh-huh.
Ivy goes to meet with Tabs because she thinks Tabs will know where Selena is.
Right.
And I'm assuming she wants Selena to be part of her little band of merry men and women with Oswald. And this is where I came up with this, is that I think they would make a nice addition to the Sirens.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Kind of, yeah. But I think I don't think
ground them a little bit.
Tabitha doesn't seem to want Ivy around or Selena.
Yeah, but they already have a bond with Babs.
Yeah.
And Babs and Tabs are on the outs anyway. So I think it would be kind of funny if Babs invited them.
So maybe Tabitha gets forced out and then brings in...
No. Babs could just bring them on and Tabs would just be more upset.
Right. Okay. Conflict. I see what you're saying.
Because, Tabs isn't going to leave. She loves Babs.
Right.
Anyway,
Selena wakes up this week.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Ivy pulls out not 1, not 2, but like 50 medicinal plants, and that just happened to bring her out of a coma.
Well, she knows what to do.
Apparently. Here are my special coma bringing out plants.
They grow all over the room.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very cool looking scene.
She does have a green thumb.
And thank you for not letting it be the cats licking her to make her Catwoman. I like that she is not a supernatural Catwoman.
Yeah.
That she is just healed from the plants.
So yeah, Selena wakes right up and is like, okay, let's get to business. I got somebody to kill. I have to go kill somebody. So she's gunning for 5, apparently.
That's right. She is off to kill 5.
Because apparently, surprisingly, she's not okay with being thrown out of a window.
Nope. Not just that, but she doesn't want 5 to be taking over Bruce's life. And she's standing up for Bruce, and she wants to know where Bruce is, I'm assuming, as well. Yep. So I'm assuming a lot with this episode. Sorry. I'm saying that word a lot.
It'd be kind of nice if Selena staged rescue got Bruce out of that little monastery or wherever they are.
Well, once Selena gets there, Alfred will know as well.
Right.
So as soon as Bruce comes back, they're going to know.
That's true.
So they'll be able to bring him out of whatever thing they've got it.
All right, so let's see what else we had. The Odd Couple, Ed and Oswald.
Yeah, one of James's tests was also now he uses the cell phone that Oswald gives him to call him during the DAR Constitution Hall ball.
Right.
That's a thing here.
Well, I know. Every time I remember Daughters of the American Revolution, I think of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay. Do they do it on that show?
Yeah, because Emily Gilmore, the matriarch of the family, belonged to the Daughters of the American Revolution. She used to have these luncheons and where they used to basically, all these rich women used to sit and gossip about stuff.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And then until at one point, Emily gets fed up and just like, screw you guys. You guys are a-holes.
They meet at a place called Constitution Hall here.
Right.
But they also rent it out. So they say like Dennis Miller appearing at DAR Constitution Hall.
Yeah.
So, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, when he's at that gathering of the socialites, he calls Oswald because he only has to hit one button, and it doesn't matter which one because he's the only number programmed into the phone. And Oswald overhears him saying where they are, that it's in an old bank, and it thankfully allows them to get there with Boba Fett Firefly, because she stands around looking like Boba Fett half the time.
And looking really cool as she does it.
That is courtesy of one of Gotham Undercover's feedbackers. Yeah. He said that.
So she's Boba Fly.
Boba Fly, very nice.
You like that? You see what I did there?
I like that very much.
Boba Fly.
Yeah. So if Chris, if you're listening to that, Charles has added on to.
So I want some credit for that, Boba Fly.
Sure, I'll tell him in Facebook that you've said it's Boba Fly. Yeah, so they show up right at the last minute. They burn the Talon, and he falls right into the hall. And James takes the opportunity to get everyone out. And right at the last minute, he closes the doors, and everyone is safe.
Yep.
But Oswald gets home, and everybody's gone, and he gets captured, and he gets put in a little bird cage right next to Ed.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was like, oh, the penguin's in a bird cage.
Yeah. And, the funny thing is, Ed was looking at him.
And I never wanted Burgess Meredith as the penguin more.
Right.
Then that would have been perfect in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Him walking around going, whack, 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 whack,
yeah. I noticed that, Ed had a myriad emotions playing across his face when he was looking at Oswald. Like, okay, first it was, I can't believe you're alive.
Right.
And then there was
So do you think he was relieved that Oswald was alive?
A little relief.
Because, maybe I won't have these creepy ghosts every so often.
A little, yeah. And kind of are you going to forgive me sort of look almost? Like he's happy that his friend is back a little bit. And then Oswald does that thing where he's like, rawr, and he jumps out at him like, I'm going to get you. And of course he can't reach, but
right.
And poor Ed is like, oh well, that answers that question. So there's a bit of animosity there, and so there should be.
Riddler should be just like, hey, you did kill my girlfriend,
right? Of course,
just saying.
I'm not saying he is not, but he's in shock right now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going through his head. So there's that. So they're going to be compelled to do things just like Strange has been.
Eventually, it's going to be Riddler versus Penguin.
Yep.
It's coming. It's building.
I agree.
So, all right. And anything else?
Leaving again, stupidly.
Yeah, stupidly.
Acting out of character, putting down on a official report that Frank was a murder when there is absolutely no evidence to support it.
Right.
So unprofessional. Right?
If I was the actress, I would be so mad. The way Lee is being written, to be such a biatch.
Right? There are hypotheses that say that she may become a villain.
I hope not.
On the show. Right, because Babs, we've already gone through that one.
Exactly. It's just a rehash of Babs' storyline. Hey,
right.
I was involved with Jim, and now I'm bitter toward him, and now I'm going to become evil.
James, can you not ruin another one?
Seriously.
He makes them all bad.
Can't you just hurry up and knock up your wife and make Batgirl already?
Exactly. So she is mad because she's not in the loop.
Right.
Which is essentially what is happening. She's not in the loop. So she gets mad. And it comes out that she is also mad at James because Mario...
It's Mario!
It's me, Mario! Mario would have never turned if it wasn't for him.
Right.
So there's that.
I did kind of like Jim finally going, look, you're finally going, okay, your husband, Mario was going to kill you.
Right. I saw the knife.
I saw the knife. I killed Mario to prevent him from killing you. Get off my back already.
Right, and she still denies it, and she takes all her stuff in a box. And
she's all mad because everybody's protecting Gordon, and it's just like, no, everybody has just accepted reality, which as opposed to you.
Right.
You see.
And she takes her ball and goes away,
yeah.
which is fine with me right now because she's so irritating.
Until they figure out her character.
Right, and then the Bane of the Barns, which we kind of talked about, but... What's truly stupid
she's like, screw you guys, I gotta go make Deadpool 2, so...
Right. She's already made it, though, hasn't she? It's kind of done already.
I think it's being filmed.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's filmed
So
yet.
maybe that's it. All right, so the Bane of the Barns is... okay, they have Barnes because they're taking his blood.
Yep.
But James does a really sloppy job of breaking into Catherine Monroe's house... We find out what her last name is.
Right.
And he leaves a drawer open. And when he leaves her house, he plays it off pretty good. When he's in the house, he
all you had to do was
about,
just close the drawer. All you had to do.
I know.
Stupid. Gordon.
He asks about, what do I need to do to exclude my loved ones from this thing? And he says, you need to let me in. I've been a good soldier so far. And then he leaves. And here's the dumb part. Catherine's window is open.
Yes.
And immediately after leaving, he gets on the phone.
To Harvey. Yeah, Harvey, we got to take care of this because,
So dumb. He can't wait till he's in the car.
Or like he's around the block.
Just out of the line of sight of Catherine. It's so dumb.
This show makes so many leaps of common sense. It's not even funny.
I mean, it was a good episode, but there's so many hand waves in it that, the wake part with the shaman and Bruce was great.
Right.
I loved that part. And I loved the part with Strange coming out. And by the way, he saved Fish, so we know that she'll be back in another episode. She was okay so far. Once she came back. And I did like the part with Ivy healing Selena as well. So there were some good parts, but Lee is really bugging me, and also James is really being stupid.
Well, hopefully Lee's being written out for a while. So
Let's hope.
So what's your rating?
I give it 8 magic needles because of those needles that the shaman was pushing into his face.
Yep.
That was pretty cool looking.
Yep. Again, we're totally in sync. I give it 8 medicinal plants.
Very cool.
For obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lucifer, 216. God Johnson. God Johnson. Written by Jason Ning. Directed by S.H.I.E.L.D.
Very nice.
Very alliterative.
Mm-hmm. Guest starring Timothy Ombudsman.
Yeah, as God Johnson.
Psych. That's right.
Yeah, he's really good in this episode.
Lassiter.
Yeah. So is he like the Silver Fox kind of thing?
I just like him.
Okay.
He was great.
I didn't know if he was Silver Fox worthy.
Oh, he's cute. He's all right.
Just checking. So, A story.
I'd like him more for his sense of humor and everything like that, but he's very cool. Okay. He is a great Twitter follow.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay.
A story.
The God Couple.
Yeah. You got 2 D's. You got 2 D's on that one.
Right, because we had the Odd Couple before.
I see what you did there.
This one is horrible. I'm sorry for it ahead of time.
Yes.
Sheathing Las Vegas.
As opposed to leaving Las Vegas.
Right. Sorry. I apologize.
I appreciate the pun, but it is a little forced.
It's terrible.
It's okay. The effort was appreciated.
Okay. And then swiping right into the investigation.
Okay.
Which is getting set up on the date thing.
Yep.
And then there is something I want to talk about that is being talked about on message boards and stuff.
Yeah.
Elementary speculation.
Is she an angel?
Is she God?
Is she God?
People are speculating that she might be God.
I don't think she's God.
I don't think so either. But a lot of people are speculating
because they made a whole big thing about the belt buckle this episode.
I know.
So we'll see. All right. So the God Couple. So essentially, this episode is there is a victim who's a patient at a mental hospital who gets killed from a blow from a backgammon board.
Not killed. Hit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he died.
Did he?
Yeah, he died. There's a murder. It was a murder.
Oh, the case.
Yes, the case.
Right.
Yeah.
The teacher.
Yeah. So, so the suspect is a patient named God Johnson.
Right.
Who gets Lucifer's interest at first. Because the guy claims to be God.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucifer's kind of like, oh, that's a laugh. Well, this will be funny.
Right.
And so I'll go in and I'll goof on him. But Lucifer is surprised, though, because God refers to him by his given name, Samael.
Right. And he hadn't introduced himself as anything yet.
Right.
He hadn't said who he is or anything. He just talked to him.
So Lucifer's kind of like, maybe, I don't know. So he goes running to Amenadiel to talk about God Johnson. Amenadiel's like, dude, there's this thing called the internet.
Yeah, except for the fact that the guy hadn't been introduced to him as Lucifer or anything.
Right.
So I think he was actually God inside that body, and he needed the belt buckle.
Yeah, I do too.
Stay inside that
body. And that's kind of where we get the hint that. So in order to talk more with God Johnson, Lucifer intentionally commits himself by grabbing the receptionist orderly or whatever, checking people in and pulling his head into the protective window.
Right.
And so he's like, okay, I guess we have an opening for you.
Right.
I'm cool with it. So he gets checked in and then starts asking him questions or whatever. And Lucifer eventually comes across God Johnson with his hands around this woman's throat.
Mm-hmm.
But the woman collapses, so Lucifer's like, "Oh, this guy must be the murderer."
Right.
But until God says, "Oh, look, wait, I need to save her."
Right.
And at that point, there is blood all over the floor that suddenly gets sucked back into her body.
Right. She was also a victim of whoever this killer was, and he healed her.
So at that point, Lucifer's like, Dad?
Alrighty. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that happened. So, which I have to admit, after that blood getting sucked back into her body, I'd have to say that's a pretty convincing argument.
I would say so.
It's certainly worth investigating further. So afterwards, Lucifer, still bitter about getting kicked out of heaven, punches his dad right smack in the chops.
Right. They have a lot of heart-to-hearts, and I think that God can't occupy a body like angels can.
Right.
I think it has to be only part of his essence.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't remember everything.
No. He's not omnipotent because he didn't know that Charlotte was back from hell.
Right.
He has to be told this, and he's like, all of a sudden he's like, oh, Charlotte's out. Hey, I'll go look her up.
Right. I think he can only maybe send a portion of himself, or
which would make sense because otherwise, if it was the full essence, it would probably just consume the host, right?
Right. I would assume so. So it's like when Jesus was born.
Right.
Like he sends a portion of himself down.
Yeah.
To be in this body, and the sheath of the belt, the belt buckle, that it turns out to be the sheath for the flaming sword,
the sheathing lost blade gas.
Right. That's the only thing that's keeping that essence inside Mr. Johnson's body.
Because as we find out, eventually that belt buckle gets taken off, knocked off God Johnson's body. God Johnson immediately passes out and then wakes up and is like, hey, what's going on? Who is this? And we find out that's the real person, Earl Johnson, who is this oil magnate that finds out, oh, guess what? I gave away all my money. What?
Yeah, right. And poor Lucifer. Yeah. And he is convinced at that point that God was never there.
Right. Well, he takes that, he looks at that belt buckle, and he's just like, okay, this looks kind of familiar. Takes it back to his apartment or the loft, above Lux, and puts it over the blade so it kind of fits. Doesn't stay on though, so it hints that there's a third piece,
a hilt or something.
Yeah, something to keep that on there.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe a cross hilt, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see what I did there? Cross hilt. Just saying. All right. So he realizes that it must have been that belt buckle that held God's essence.
Right.
So, which means that it wasn't really God saying that, because the God said all these great things about how proud he was of me and stuff.
So it can't have been him.
It couldn't have been him. And Charlotte kind of confirms this later, that when she does her little booty call with Detective Douche, that, the guy that she kissed, that she thought was her husband initially, it wasn't him. She realized this when she kissed him.
But I think it's just because it wasn't fully him.
Maybe.
It was just part of his essence. So, and of course, she's not in her own form either.
Right.
That they're both occupying, someone else's body.
But Lucifer is not happy.
No.
And he, as he's saying goodbye to Earl Johnson, he tells Earl that I'm still angry with my father and bloody furious.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
I do like that Dr. Linda comes to see them.
That was
in
good.
In the hospital, and her name tag says Dr. Linda on it.
Well, because that's what we call her, is Dr. Linda. We don't even know her last name, really.
I think it's said a couple times, but we never refer to her as her last name.
It's Dr. Linda because it's easier to roll off the tongue. So, that was great because she's all worried that she's not she's like, that's your dad, and she starts hyperventilating.
Yeah.
And it has to
Should I bow?
She has to be wheeled out of there. She's like, I should have bowed. Oh God, I didn't bow.
Yeah.
So the next time she sees him, she's like, she makes a point of bowing, and God's just like, oh, you
don't bow, my child.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
And there is a fabulous scene where Lucifer and God Johnson escape the asylum by causing a distraction.
Right.
And they're walking like the guys in, what is that movie? The one before...
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No, well, that too. But the one before Pulp Fiction, where the guys were walking down the street.
Oh, Reservoir Dogs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like that, but just two of them and sideways. Yeah. But the song is really good. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really good song.
It's a cool slow-mo walk they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like the feathers from
There's
a pillow
feathers
fly,
everywhere. Yeah.
Fire. There's a trash can lit because Lucifer gave a lighter to a pyromaniac. And so
reminds me a little
dogs
bit
and
of
cats
Preacher.
living together in mass hysteria.
Right. It reminds me a little bit of Preacher. Where they do some cinematography like that in Preacher.
Right. Yes, they do.
So that's a cool scene. I like that very much. And I love Timothy Ombudsman in this episode as well. So there's that. Okay, and then there's some comedic stuff that happens with Maze and Chloe.
Yeah. It's right out of a Three's Company episode.
Yeah. Maze is trying to pay Chloe back for the girl time that they had in the last episode. And she's making her breakfast, which is essentially charcoaled toast.
Yeah. Yeah, Chloe's just like, I'm gonna pass on this.
I'm bad at the house stuff, so let's go kill someone then.
Yeah. No, not really down with that either.
No, I don't need your help there.
So then Maze tries to hook up Chloe with Dr. Garrity.
Right. The guy who could help her with the case.
Yeah, so he's essentially the head therapist at the mental hospital.
Right. To try and maybe get some information out of him.
Who's kind of hot for her.
Mm-hmm.
Gives her his card. He's like, call me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Maze does set them up.
Right.
And it just so happens that Amenadiel comes over at the same time. So they're kind of like on a double date.
And then Chloe's just like, no, we're not doing
no
a threesome.
foursomes.
No orgy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because they leave Amenadiel and Dr. Garrity on the couch, and Amenadiel has no idea what to say. So he says, I like the shape of your head, because he also has a bald head and he's black.
Then he also makes the point of like taking the doctor's pizzas, like, you gonna eat that?
Mm-hmm.
No, you go right ahead.
Right. It's very funny.
It's like this pineapple and peppers pizza or something.
Yeah, it's whatever Maze likes on her pizza.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I like that storyline, but it also leads to the case where Chloe kind of finds out who did it. And it's the nurse whose mother had been in the hospital, and that doesn't matter at all, except for the fact that she's the one that removes the belt from God Johnson.
Yeah.
And that's what causes him to disappear. So, and that's really the only function of the case, is that she is the one that caused them to disappear.
And the only other thing really in this episode is that Amenadiel tells Maze that Lucifer and him and their mom are going back to heaven. And Maze is not happy about this.
No, although Lucifer has no plans to do that.
No, because he mentions to Dr. Linda, his plan is just like, okay, I'm going to get mom home and I'm going to lock her up with dad in heaven, and that's it.
He's going to try and convince Amenadiel to stay.
Right.
He's kind of tugging on his heartstrings right now by mentioning Maze.
Yeah.
So.
If I lose Amenadiel, no big loss.
Right.
But
I'd like to keep him down here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he loves his brother a lot.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much it, right? And I don't think Ella is God. I think she might be something else, but
I think she's an angel, because they make a point about how she's a holy roller, and
she tries to get him to go to church, and
So maybe she'll be like an archangel or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
And she's just not letting anyone in on who she is.
Exactly.
She's disguised herself.
Yeah.
All right, so what did you give this one? I really like this episode a lot.
It'd be nice if she turned out to be Chantanelle from Hellblazer. You know, yeah, right?
That would be nice.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Very cool. All right.
Who's a demon, but still.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Of course, that could be the cover. The Holy Roller thing could be a total cover.
Right, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be how she's disguising herself.
So maybe it's Chantanelle. That would be awesome. There's a theory for you.
That would be cool.
All right. So what's your rating?
I give it 9 cups of chocolate pudding because, like mother, like son, she steals Dan's chocolate pudding.
Yeah, pretty much.
As Lucifer stole it in the last episode.
If I was Dan's coworkers, I'd be so annoyed with him because he always accuses his coworkers of stealing his chocolate pudding. Who talked about chocolate pudding?
He goes off.
He's like
and then Charlotte shows up with the pudding. And
he's like the chocolate pudding Nazi.
And I do have to say, I feel sorry later on in the episode when Charlotte shows up at his door, and she's not looking for sex; she just wants comfort, it's very sad to me.
But with your pants off,
right?
Yeah. So which of course will lead to sex.
Right.
Yeah.
9 cups of chocolate pudding for me.
I was a little less than you on this one. I give it 8 out of 8.5 holy belt buckles.
Holy
belt buckles,
Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice.
All right. So, yeah. Very nice. All right. So our last show for the first segment, The Flash, episode 22 of the 3rd season, Infantino Street, which is a great shout out to the late great Carmine Infantino, the co-creator of Barry Allen, The Flash.
That's right.
So, much respect there.
I got to meet him.
Teleplay, I did too. I have his autograph on some Flash Archives books.
Me too.
So, teleplay by Granny Godfrey, who I always call as Granny Goodness. Directed by Michael Alowitz.
Very cool.
What's our A, B, and C, Karen?
Cold Case.
And see what you did there.
Thank you. Broken Engagement.
Okay.
And HR Bad Rep. Because someone misspeaks.
HR, you're poking holes in my abracadabra theory. I just want
to say.
He
is kind of, isn't he?
He is.
A little bit.
I'm a little concerned about my abracadabra theory.
Still a chance, though.
Yeah, there's a chance, but...
Because he did move his drumsticks all around, and he referred to them.
Yeah, I know.
So,
we'll see.
There's that.
We'll see. I hope it... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm
mediocre drumming.
Yeah. So, Cold Case, obviously a reference to the return of Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold.
Correct.
Now, of course, Captain Cold can't be alive again for some stupid reason. The Flash writers won't bring him back because, hey, that would be too sensible. So we have to come up with this long-winded explanation of Barry going back in time again to get Captain Cold back when he was still alive.
If they bring him back, then that means that timeline changes. He sacrificed himself for them.
Or he goes into the future and saves Captain Cold from being blown up real good.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
There's a way to work it out.
I guess.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. There's a way to work it out. There's a way to resurrect Cold.
You could just freeze that thing and run.
Yeah.
But anyway.
He
does. He takes Captain Cold from earlier in that
so he
timeline.
goes back to 1892, when Captain Cold was still with the Legends, and he tells him, like, hey, I need your help because, hey, I want to break into this Argus facility to steal this cool power device.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Cold
said...
Captain
Cold Layla won't help me.
Yeah, so Captain Cold said, you had me at break-in.
Right.
And steal.
He sure did. Hi, Barry. Of course I'll come and help you. Anytime.
Sure, I'll help you steal something.
How come you didn't ask me, Barry?
Well, frankly, because you're loud and obnoxious, and you're a big distraction. You're horrible for a robbery. I don't know why Captain Cold keeps you around, because that would be just kind of...
And can I just say his throwaway line of, it makes me feel like we're in Jaws because they didn't show the shark because they didn't have enough money in the budget to show the whole shark. It was so funny, that line, because of course it's the same thing on The Flash.
Yes, yeah, that was the joke, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that was great.
Funny.
That was great, yeah.
A little meta.
Well, and they also had a great King Shark moment where, like, all you see is the fin through this, like, all the smoke and stuff.
Well, that was kind of the gag, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was a Jaws reset, yeah.
Right.
All they needed was the music going dun 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 dun.
Dun,
yep.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and Captain Cold getting stuck in there, and of course that was the thing that put Lila over the edge, that allowed her to give them the power source.
So what happens is, Captain Cold gets locked in with King Shark, and Barry's just like, I'm not going to leave you. You better not leave me, Barry.
Right.
I'm not happy with that.
Right.
Barry.
Yeah, I do like that he knows
but
that
he does say, go on without me.
He does. He's ready to sacrifice himself.
Yep.
But he knows that sharks they go to sleep in the cold.
I watch Shark Week.
Right. And Barry asks him some other more detailed question, and he says, I watch Shark Week. I'm not a biologist. It's very funny. I really like Wentworth Miller.
Yeah, he's really good. He's got that deadpan humor down cold. No pun intended. See what I did there? Yeah. So Barry he goes back for Cold. That apparently impresses Lila so much. She's just like, hey, okay, here's the power source that they could have given you at the beginning of the episode and saved you guys a whole lot of trouble.
Not that it matters, because the gun didn't work anyway.
But still, the premise was there.
I know.
The premise was sound. But,
right.
yeah, so what happens is we get to see that big sequence that they've been teasing forever and a day all season, that Iris getting killed by Savitar. And so they've got their little Speed Force bazooka ready to use on Savitar, but...
Right. Someone has the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes. I have the Philosopher's Stone, so therefore you can suck it.
Yep, that's right.
And Savitar ends up killing Iris West. Or does he?
Right. Who knows? Well, someone decided to play fast and loose with the time stream this week anyway.
Exactly.
To go get Captain Cold. So what's stopping him from doing it again?
Right. And remember, HR has his eye on Plunder's gun.
Yeah.
So, guessing things will change once again.
I know.
So,
and I knew that it was S.H.I.E.L.D. the moment Iris took her gun off, or her gun, took her ring off and gave it to her father. I was like, oh, she's going to get killed. Because that was the thing.
And then we find out, that she made this video, which is her essentially making wedding vows to Barry.
Right.
So let the tears flow.
Didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I didn't care. When I realized that the song that was being sung, 1, 2, 3, 4, that song, it's called the Murder Song. I was like, oh, Murder Song.
Well, there you go.
I see. Yeah, there's your problem right there.
that might be your flaw. Yeah. So and Barry just like he's doing the slow-mo running. I'm going to save you.
Yep.
Not fast enough.
And instead of HR being on the roof, it was her father on the roof. So her father got to watch the whole thing. Yeah. Joe got to watch the whole thing.
And remember, the Savitar broke Wally's leg.
Mm-hmm. So Wally wasn't there.
Wally wasn't the one fast enough to save Iris.
Right.
So the prophecy is fulfilled.
The whole HR bad rep was that Savitar dressed up as Barry shows up at Star Labs and tricks them into telling HR tells him where.
Yeah, because HR thinks it's Barry, and he tricked me.
Yep.
Yeah, and everybody glares at HR like, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And HR does feel bad about it. I will give him
He
that.
does feel terrible about it.
So again, which also kind of hurts my abracadabra theory.
Yeah.
So he does seem to be really crushed by it. So, but which is what I'm kind of wondering is why he's going to try to rectify things in the season finale.
He might, yeah.
So we'll see.
Yep. Okay, so what did you give it?
Really enjoyed this one. I gave it 8.5 Speed Force bazookas.
I liked it too. I didn't see much of a flaw in it. I think that it was true to what the comic book would do, to be honest. I think that it would have gone through with the plan and then have to have him fix it in the end. So I gave it 9 Montgomery 3000s, which was the model of the lock on King Shark's door.
Oh, very nice.
I like that Captain Cold, Barry was talking to Cisco and trying to get him to break into the Montgomery 3000, and Captain Cold had it open by the time he turned around.
Yeah, he's like,
whatever, I'm in.
No biggie. No big deal. And we did have Cisco got his fight with Caitlin.
Right.
So that happened. Yeah, so, but then Cisco's like, I want to save you. And she's like, well, too bad, because I want to kill you. Yep. So.
And they made, what's her name, part of the team, or at least HR did.
Yeah, HR, she's asked, he basically proposed, like he got down one knee and said, do you want to be on our team? Team Flash?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And then they let her in on the gag that Barry is Flash.
Which makes me kind of wonder if she's going to die next week.
Yeah, who knows?
As he tries to alter time and then she ends up dying.
Could be.
We'll see. Could be.
Yeah. Okay, so that is the end of 104A.
Yep. So come back for part 2, where we're going to talk about iZombie, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, Arrow, and Iron Fist.
That is correct.
Yes. So Barry, why did you do that?